Hello and welcome back to another week here at Heroes and Hooligans, where we are playing Gilded Destinies, our Eberron show. Last week we had our very first meeting with the mayor, and quite a bit of conundrum around Coca-Cola and her newfound power coming from the stone itself. This week, our party prepares to go and have their first day of work at the docks, and then perhaps get into a bit of investigation in the evening. We'll start our bright, beautiful day just after dropping your grandfather back off at the family farm, where you had noticed after a intense emotional discussion about expectations, doubts, and disappointment with his granddaughter, your grandfather remained behind at the homestead to contemplate his views and his thoughts, rather than head back to his dear friend the mayor's house. What would you all like to do? If you want to head down to go work at the docks, it's getting to be probably about 11 in the morning. And if you took a nice leisurely walk, you'd probably get there right in time to sign up for an afternoon shift.
Yeah, I think Coca-Cola would change out of the more decent outfit that she wore this morning into something more work appropriate. You know, her proper work boots and pants and such.
Yeah.
And she would strap her gear on, make sure she has like her daggers and such. Because, you know, obviously if they're going to go do some recon, she can't be going in empty-handed.
Yeah. So you go ahead and get all geared up for the day. I presume everyone else switches over to their gear from their fancy finery as well.
Yeet.
Those of you who wore it.
Yeah. That one.
All right. And once you're all prepared for work, you set off towards the meadery to do a little work at the docks. You come up to the meadery, and you see it runs along the eastern fork of the stream here. You see the stream's narrowed in scale at the point where it reaches the meadery, to where it's not good for much more than a single rowboat shipping down the stream. It doesn't seem like there's any ships here with the power to fight the force back upriver and then down it again on the other fork. And you see a overseer standing here. Looks like a small gnomish man with a few interesting features. The skin across the bridge of his nail, the bridge of his nose, shows a spattering of scale-like features, and his eyes are a piercing yellow as he barks orders over the top of workers, many of whom are dressed very similarly to yourselves. All right, I need that car on that rowboat 5 minutes ago. Keep moving. Let's go. We've got shipments to make. We've got bottles to fill, and we've got bellies to feed. On our way now. And seeing you walk up, turns to you. New hands?
Yes, sir.
Wonderful. You'll be down there unloading carts straight onto the boats. And he points you to a little dock that just juts out over the river, with carts lined up about 10 deep, waiting to be loaded onto the boats.
Okay.
Think you can handle it?
Yeah, absolutely. Do you have the shipping, what do they call it? Shipping manifest?
All the boxes are marked already. They've got receivers on the other end ready to sort them out and send them where they go. You just got to slap them off that cart onto those boats.
Okay.
Once the boat's full, start with your next cart.
All right.
All right.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right. Awesome. I am just going to ask for a athletics check from everybody using either strength or dexterity.
Okay. I want to ask a question about this because not everybody in our group is strong, right? So the way that they have it set up to be loaded, is it sort of set up like a fireman's line with the bucket, how they're just passing it to one?
Yeah, you'll be able to
next?
just pass it one to the next. And you're just looking to hit a total group DC here. So I'm going to take all of your checks, add them up, and if you hit that DC, the difference between how much you hit it by, how much you succeed it by, and how much you fail it by will determine what percentage of your work gets done for the day.
Zenlin
So it's
gets
basically,
a 5.
did you have the best for Zenlin got a 5?
Resner
All right.
25.
Resner got a 25. All right. And then Coca-Cola and Jillian, let me know what you guys got. You have a
I've
second.
got a 12.
12?
Yep. I've got a flat 0 for strength. So that's why I was kind of like asking how it was set up, if there was any way we could finagle ourselves where sort of like Zenlin and Coca-Cola work together next to each other because both of them aren't super strong. So maybe in conjunction they could help each other.
Like I said, you can make this athletics check using dexterity. So you can go ahead and add your dex mod to that instead of your strength of 0.
Oh, okay. Well, then if I'm adding, then it's a 17 for me. If I'm adding the dexterity +5.
All right. So
Jillian got a 23.
Good job.
Here we go. All right. So with a 23 and a 17, that's 40. 5 and a 25, that's 30, bringing you to a total of 70 for the group. Your DC was 50. Congratulations on a very successful first day of work.
Good.
You get in there and you, as a group, are a mean, lean, box-moving machine. Zenlin, you're looking around at your allies, and they are flying with these boxes to the point where you're like, "Am I keeping up? Really? Am I just here?" Or
yeah, like the boxes are just flying through him, and occasionally he grabs one and passes it forward, but really they're just passing it past him.
Yeah, Zenlin's hands are touching it at no
just
time.
yeah, so I just
where
assume,
it's
right?
just Zenlin. It's like Coca-Cola is handing it to Zenlin, and Resnor is grabbing it from Zenlin before Coca-Cola lets go.
That was pretty much kind of like what I wanted us to be able to do, because I knew Zenlin was not strong at all. And I don't want him to break an arm or something just lifting boxes because he's like fragile.
To clarify, I did choose to make an athletics check and not a dexterity check.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
All right. But you do have a successful first day. As you finish up, as the twilight hours begin to come to a close, you see that around you are other exhausted dock workers, many of whom are kind of giving you dirty looks. You know, you just showed up on your first day and you threw, 150 pieces an hour when you only needed to throw 100. You really went pedal to the metal as a group. And the dock master wakes up at the end of the day. Look at the newbies. They've got the spirit. Why don't any of you?
Did we just piece rate ourselves into the top team at Amazon? Jeff Bezos is like, yeah, all the rest of you have to operate like this now.
Someone just dying behind everyone.
All right. And he looks at you. First drink at the end is on me. And throws you 2 gold pieces to cover your first round of drinks.
Eat 2 gold each, or 2 gold?
2 gold total.
Is that what we negotiated?
That's a bonus on top of your day.
Yeah, we get paid weekly, I think.
Something like that. I thought I wrote it down.
You get paid 5 gold pieces a week. I
Per
believe is
person.
what they settled on.
Yeah, I thought it
What
was
was that?
per person.
Yeah, 5 gold pieces per person per week.
Yeah, so the extra.
See, and what we're doing here is we're proving that if you pay your workers more, they will be more productive.
Right.
Right? They said this is not the normal dock worker pay. Look at what we did. Sure, profits will hurt for a little bit, but it'll pay off in the long run.
You did
Someone
do.
says gasping from the ground.
You did
See?
do one. To be fair, you did 1.5 times the work for 10 times the pay. This is still a net loss for them.
I mean, isn't that our goal?
Yes.
Shh. Shh. No, it's not. Our goal is to work from the bottom up and be good, hardworking employees that just really enjoy what they do. That's what our goal is.
Yeah, but the day winds down, and you see some of the dock workers actually head into the meadery. Cola and Jillian, you both know that there's a little bit of a drinking hall inside where workers can get discounted rates. But you do see some of them split off and head towards the inn here in town. It seems like they might just prefer a different environment for their drinking than at the workplace.
That's fair. However,
What would you like to do as the twilight sets over Revan?
Well, do we want to drink here at the meadery, or do we want to head over to the tavern?
Wait, hey, Jillian, was that a nat 20 athletics check from you earlier?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, I'm going to reward that a little. You didn't just do 1.5 times the amount of work you did. You fully proved your worth. Like, there are still, that there's a night shift coming in to work, and there are still carts at every other dock except for yours. You've cleared your dock, and there is a massive of rowboats waiting to leave it.
See? Point proven.
Point proven. Do we want to drink at the meadery, or do we want to head over to the tavern?
Which one's got a better view of the tower?
I'll say the tower is a much closer vantage point from the tavern in town.
Yeah.
It's closer to, maybe a quarter or an eighth of a mile versus a full mile.
Yeah. My thought is if we're drinking out at the meadery, it's farther to walk, right? Which would give us an easier way to slip away than rather try to slip away through town where we're close. But also, you hear things differently in different places. So if we listen to rumors in town, we're going to hear more like general gossip rumors. But I feel like if we listen to the way that people talk when they're drinking at the meadery, we might hear, some inter-office gossip or things like that, right?
That's true. I guess I was thinking that if we went into town, we could reconvene with Jolly and see how his day was, but I assume if he needed us, he would have said something by now, so we can certainly drink here.
That's fair. I mean, either way, right? Like I'm totally open to either way. I'm going to drink regardless of where we're at. So that part is irrelevant to me, right? But I just I was thinking we've been to the tavern and kind of listened to the kind of talk that floats around through there. And my thought is, we could maybe kill 2 birds with 1 stone, picking up some different types of conversation here. And it's going to be a different environment, right? Like it's going to be a smaller environment where we could, probably ask some different kind of questions than what we could ask openly in the tavern where,
It's true. I think tomorrow we might have to do a half day at work as well, because I feel like we have to go talk to that family.
we should go talk to them. And that's another thing I was wondering if maybe while we were here at the meadery, we might be able to ask some questions about that family, the Rockboroughs. Maybe get maybe my cousins will be drinking here and get them chatting a little bit, because nobody's going to think twice about cousins shooting the shit with each other the way that they would us questioning random strangers. I don't know, fuck it, let's go. Let's try it out here for the day. Hopefully nobody's too mad at how much work we got done.
Yeah,
They're all
or
jealous.
that were not from here. What was that, Resno?
They're all jealous.
Well, I mean, it is kind of fair for them to be jealous, but if I saw a star-studded crew walking through my town, I'd be jealous too. She'll just kind of elbow you and do a little wink.
Yeah. He'll do his thumbs up.
A very Reznor thumbs up. Yeah, Reznor.
Thumbs up with a smile.
Fucking Reznor. Ugh. But well, while we're sitting around here chit-chatting, since we decided we're gonna just stay here at the meadery, right? I'll
sounds like
relay.
Sounds like a good plan to stay here at the meadery.
Yeah, I'll relay off to the group my grandfather's expressed disappointment, because it'll be something that's clearly been weighing heavy on Coca-Cola all day. And
I do want to be clear. He fully ripped you out in front of everybody.
Yeah, I figured they'd want to talk about it, right?
Okay. I wasn't sure if you were telling them about it or wanted to talk about it. Yeah, they everyone did witness that.
Essentially both, because I recall us being back a little further, so I just didn't. I assumed we were at the back of the pack, so I assumed he had started talking and such, and they were ahead, so they maybe heard some of it, but not all of it. So she would just kind of go over with the group his expressed discontent and reiterate her passion points of what she responded to them. I'm not going to go through the whole conversation again because they heard, right? But
I will say, even after meeting him, and I'm not saying there's not questionable things going on and shady stuff, I'm just saying he doesn't seem like a bad guy.
I don't know. It's just something about him just rubs me the wrong way. And when I walk into a room, the first thing I do is I assess the room, right? And I start with assessing the building and the structure itself before I even step into the room. And I'm the same kind of way with people. I assess the outside before I assess the inside. And when things on the outside don't make sense, then it starts when I get to the inside questioning. Then I'm wanting to know more, just something about him doesn't feel right. And think about it, right? When we talked to my cousin, she mentioned, well, the new manager, he put the mayor assigned the new manager, and they have me advertising around the town, right? So she told us that. Then we go to the meadery, we meet the new manager. He seems fairly decently nice. And he tells us, well, it was the mayor actually who put her in that position, right? So then when we get to the mayor's house to talk to the mayor, when I went to help his wife in the kitchen, she casually mentions that it's her cousin who's running the meadery, right? So to me, it felt like it just kind of flared up inside of me, because it felt like they were pushing us out in lieu of their own people, which I understand times need to change and such, but why not put somebody?
Counterpoint.
Yes.
Here's a thought. What if the mayor isn't involved? What if it's his wife?
You think he's like a puppet?
I mean, he seems like a genuine guy, but genuine guys can oftentimes be naive too. What do we really know about her?
I mean, I've never seen somebody cook dinner in chainmail, but or breakfast in chainmail. So I mean, we don't know much about her, but that's the point I'm getting at, right? Is it feels it feels off with all of the information that we've kind of gathered along the way. And this conversation is being had in like hushed tones. I don't want my opinions of the mayor to carry through the meadery.
100%.
So it's like the things that we've come across, like you guys, what you found out at City Hall, that it's like the same guy every couple of days that brings in wyvern hearts and such, right? It's like the same person every couple of days. And then this mayor says, oh, I want to send somebody ahead of you to make sure that, you know, to do a look of the building. And it's not a city employee. It's not a meadery employee. It's nobody like that. It's just this random wyvern slayer.
One thing I do want to point out is we do kind of keep saying city employee. This is a very small city.
Well, still, they have employees of things, right? Like, they have the people, the ladies in the office. There's the mayor themselves. I mean, the city is running the meadery. They've got whatever other city offices there are. I don't know what city offices are in Redmond personally as a player, but you know.
You would know not a lot. City pretty much sets the tax rate and authorizes the King's Guard to come through and collect taxes, or the Council's Guard to come through and collect taxes. And can introduce initiatives to better the city. But it's pretty... If there's not literal public support for the mayor's office, the mayor doesn't have an office. He's got... I'll tell you this straight up. His staff is the two people you met.
Right.
Other than that, it's people he hires for a job here or there, or people he has under his contract through the deal with the meadery.
Well, it just strikes me as odd, right? That the person that he chooses to pick to send ahead is the guy who we're extremely suspicious of. You know, we're already suspicious of the person bringing in the wyvern hearts.
Oh,
so
like I said, definitely sus stuff. I want to make sure that we're looking at everything and not just tunneling on the mayor, because like I said, I've heard stories of that. I've seen that, right? He might genuinely just want to help the city and his wife has her own motives, or this hunter might have something on him. We definitely need to investigate. I just want to make sure we're, looking under all the rocks.
Yeah, I just have two, where our group as a whole has one path that we're kind of walking together. I have a side path that I'm having different opinions on him versus like our total group interactions. More like it really frustrates me with the meadery stuff, which I get it, right? My grandfather, he specifically said, like, I asked him to take over, and I'm not saying that he didn't. I just felt like my cousin was extremely disrespected as an individual who knows the brewery like the back of her hand, right? Like, that's what got to me, I feel like, the most.
Oh, I agree. And
especially when they offered us the positions that they did right out the gate, right? Like, oh, you have the silver iron gut patch. oh, do you want to work in the office? Do you want to come up here and do this? Oh, we do need a financial advisor. So like they're offering me a job in the office. They gave Jolly a job in the office. And then he offered a supervisor position to me at the docks simply because I now wear the silver patch. Regardless of the patch, my cousin has been here for ages and could be working in one of those positions, a supervisory position, doing something more helpful than just advertising mead in a place that it's been having mead for 519 years.
Oh, I agree. Like I said,
That's the part that really irritates me.
everything is really sus, and I totally understand. Like Don, the player, and Zenlin understands. I do think he's involved.
Do you think you guys have moved into the mead hall as you're having this conversation, or is this still outside?
Yeah, I think we kind of like walked along, made our way along together, having the conversation, keeping it kind of.
I'll say you like paused in there enough to like stop and grab drinks and find yourself a table and still keep things pretty private as well, so that you weren't spreading your business everywhere. But yeah, you find a little one of those little round booths back in a corner that you can sit in. You can still catch the vibe of the room and have space to go out and explore and get the vibe and get people's feelings, but have a little bit of privacy tucked back in the corner here.
Zenlin gives his first drink to Reznor.
All right.
And
of course, the only thing served here in the mead hall for 5 silvers apiece is Iron Gut Brew.
Yeah, I'm drinking it.
As you drink it, you, Cola, very quickly realize this is like the scrap mead, basically. This is the leftover of like what's drinkable, but is really just a little bit coming out of the heads.
It's like B grade or whatever, you know.
Yeah, it's the leavings when they press the clean tasting stuff out of the barrels.
It's fine with me.
But it's cheap. It's cheap. It's flowing like honey. And the environment in the mead hall is very lively. You see quite a few people have broken out little like hand instruments or pipes or flutes and are playing along. There's music. People are dancing on tables in some corners of the room. And yeah, you know, the workers really seem to be letting loose and having a good time after a hard day's work. Would you like to go and talk to anybody tonight, or are you just trying to get a general vibe?
My first question is, as a GM, what are your rules of intox? Like, how many drinks is it that you have before you need to start rolling Constitution saving throws?
If your character is not drinking with the express intention of getting drunk, then if you're just drinking for like a little bit of flavor, like you're having a drink with people, I don't worry about it. If you're sitting down at the bar and you're like, all right, pour me another one, that's when we'll start talking about it.
I'm mostly just curious because we're going to be here for a little while, right? To kind of play out our plan. And I want to make sure that, you know.
I'll say you can safely have up to your Constitution modifier number of drinks, minimum of 1 before you have to make a check.
So Zenlin, you won't be
minimum. Yeah, you won't make a check on your first one, Zenlin, but on 2 you definitely will.
My Constitution is +3. It's my strength that.
Oh, it is. Then yeah.
Oh, good.
I mean, my Constitution's save. I guess my Constitution itself is negative, isn't it?
Yeah, it's your con modifier.
Yeah.
And I've got a 4 con modifier, so I mean, I'm fine. It's not that I'm not fine. I just wanted to kind of figure out how we should go about it as a group, given that we plan on being here for some time until it gets kind of later in the evening, but also not looking like, oh, they're just here, they're not really drinking. So
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to be able to do the math around it. Like
Oh,
how
and
many
you and those of you who've been here before, like had previous visits to Revan, you know that Revan's a daytime town. Its nightlife dies down pretty quickly. There's still people drinking at the inn and such, but
right.
most people around here go to bed not long after the sun sets, maybe an hour or two, and the sun is setting now.
To clarify,
Yeah, so-
Zenlin isn't drinking at all, but he'll certainly make some kind of check to try and act like he is. Like he'll get an extra drink probably and just slide it to Reznor and try and make it seem like he drank it.
Yeah, if you want to just give me a quick little sleight of hand check for that. And anyone who wants to can give me any help or guidances or bardics or whatever they have.
Natural 20 for 23. The
Yeah,
most
Zenlin-
mundane thing ever.
You actually go to take a sip of the drink, so to speak, and you manage to pour it in such a way that it looks like it's going into your mouth, but is actually refilling Reznor's glass.
Restor's
like
a
it.
big fan of this magical glass. This is great.
We love magical
Sounds
drinking
fantastic.
apparatuses.
Yeah. Would you like to approach anybody? Any of you? Like to try to get a vibe? Or do you want to just sit around and give yourselves a good time frame to go and explore?
I feel like, well, I know I mentioned like listening to things, but what do you guys think? Like, do you want to just kind of keep to ourselves and actively listen, or try to mingle while we're here? What do you want to do?
Zenlin is kind of thinking, at least for himself, more of a vibe check, and he's kind of curious after that show of the docks, are people paying attention to us, and does anyone approach us? They don't know anything about us. We just showed up and showed them up.
Yeah. Go ahead and someone give me just a charisma check with advantage for the group.
You want to do it, Zenlin, or you want me to?
I can do it. Just base charisma.
Yep, just your charisma.
It's 23.
23. Yeah, you don't see anyone approaching you, but you do catch some eyes being thrown your way and some muttering amongst some of the other workers. And it looks like a positive attitude, but like they're not quite sure what to make of you yet.
Question. Is a majority of the conversation happening in this establishment happening in common, or is it a majority being spoken in Dwarven?
You hear actually a very strong blend of conversation. Some is happening in just Dwarven between dwarves. There's a little bit of common being thrown around, but the majority seems to be coming in this dock worker's own pidgin language of Gnomish and Dwarven.
Okay. So like an interesting mix of Gnomish and
Yeah.
Dwarvish. Okay.
Yeah, think like the same way that some Cajun accents are like a blend of
Like Cajun Creole.
yeah, like Creole. Yeah. There's definitely a pidgin language going on here that's grown up through the mixed culture of this city.
Okay. And Zenlin, you speak Dwarvish, don't you?
Zenlin speaks
Maybe.
giant, I think, is the
I was
Giant.
gonna say, yeah, common elvish giant.
Giant. Okay. If Jolly were with us, I know Jolly speaks Gnomish. Does anybody else with us speak Gnomish? Reznor, Jillian?
I'll say anybody who speaks either Gnomish or Dwarven can give me an intelligence check to try to piece out what they're saying.
I mean, I speak Dwarven, and I also have advantage on charisma when it comes to dwarves. But
I'll allow that to give you advantage on an intelligence check to piece out this pigeon.
my curiosity coming from this was not a very good roll. I got a 7. My curiosity from the gnomish side is it comes from like a linguistic standpoint, right? Where I'm looking at it on the dwarven side of things, and I'm sure like I think gnomish and dwarvish in my mind works similar to like Spanish to Italian, where they're similar.
So they're both actually canonically both based off of the primordial dialect of Terran. So that is a very good comparison.
Okay, so yeah, so my thought is right. Like there are certain words in Spanish that are also used as slang. So I'm fluent in Spanish as a human being outside of D&D. So that's where I'm looking at it like huevos in Spanish means eggs, but it's also slang for testicles, right? So I'm wondering on the gnomish side of things if there's gnomish dialect that picks up something different than what I would pick up on the dwarven side. Does that make sense?
Right. I hear what you're saying, like the attitude shift in the language,
Yeah.
Kind of. No, it seems to be mostly the same attitude, and the bits of dwarven that you're picking up are mostly things talking about you. Isn't that you're hearing things like, hey, you heard about them up crust people coming down and working at the docks with us? Yeah, that was them, wasn't it? Yeah, they really can throw a load. Maybe there's a reason they're the top of the crust and we're down here at the bottom, huh? And you hear one guy, and you see one guy smack his buddy over the back of his head. Don't go saying things like that. We're down here because we're the support, we're the foundation, we're the salt of the earth, we're the cracks in the stone.
Okay. And that's coming from the group that's speaking the pigeon-like language, right?
Yeah. That's one of the groups speaking in the pigeon language. Like I said, that does seem to be the primary language being spoken here, as it is what most people here have in common as a language. Some people speak Dwarven as their first language. Some people speak Gnomish. There's a couple of people who look like they speak Elvish, but it looks like everyone who's here for a while picks up this pigeon.
Okay. I have one more question.
Yep.
So you know how usually in a town there's like 2 taverns, the one that everybody goes to, that's like the decent one, and then there's like the one where the more seedy and shady dealings go on, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is there, since this is a smaller tavern, obviously it's in the meadery, it's mostly for employees. Is there anybody around, if I'm like coming from an investigative standpoint, is there anybody around or any signs around of anything being spoken or hand signaled in thieves' cant in any of these conversations?
I'll say give me an investigation check.
I have a passive of 18.
All
If I roll under that, then I'll take my 18. I know that's probably wonky, but
I'll tell you now, a passive of 18 is not going to pick it up.
okay, so let me roll investigation here. All right, how about a 26?
26. You do see a few signs being given of secret messages being passed. And on the 26th, I'm going to say you pick up that they're signals asking about a meeting. And you see that there is a meeting arranged for 3 days from now below Belfry's house.
So it's a meeting in 3 days at Belfry's house.
Belfreak. I'll send it in the chat.
Belfrig. Belfrig's basement.
Yep.
And do they say anything like about the meeting? Anything like about the time?
You caught that it is after the shift, and you'd guess you would know from experience that most people who work the docks work the same shift every day. So yeah, it's immediately after the shift in 3 days' time, below Belfreaks.
Okay. And do they give any bits and pieces or anything indicative of like who the group is, what they're meeting about, any of that kind of information? Any other like little scraps?
You catch that this is being passed from what looks like a much more experienced dock worker, someone who looks like they might be coming up on like Jolly was coming up on their retirement and their pension, being asked by a much younger dwarf who looks like they've maybe been of working age for 5 years.
Okay. And I lied. I have one more question. Is there anybody in here talking about the rock burrows?
I'll say give me one more investigation check. And I've got a DC set in my head here. Go ahead.
Well,
Or you can make
not
a perception for a higher DC.
I'm not rolling good on my investigation on this one. I only got a 9.
All right. You do not pick up anybody talking about the rock burrows.
Okay. All right.
But the sun has set and the mead hall does begin to clear out. People heading back to their jobs. You notice, or heading back to their homes. You notice there's still a few straggling groups in here. It wouldn't be suspicious for you to leave now and try to slip off, but it also wouldn't be suspicious if you stayed a bit longer.
I'll ask the group what they want to do, if they think it's good to go now or if we should try to wait a little bit later.
Resno, you're the resident hunter.
I think we're probably good to go now.
You think good to go now?
Yeah, since the city doesn't tend to stay up very late.
Yeah, it is pretty sleepy. I just want to make sure that we're giving ourselves like the best shot.
Yeah, if Fresnor wants to give me a survival or stealth check, we can let you know how your chances are right now.
Well, we'll go with survival. That is a natural 20-25.
Yeah, you know without a doubt you could find a way to slip away and honestly give yourselves the alibi of being seen heading back towards the farm.
I will relay that to the party. We can definitely do this. I completely believe in our abilities. We got this. We can do this. I believe in us.
All right. Well,
yeah, we'll get up and go.
All right.
Cola, do you want to watch in front or behind as we go?
well,
I suppose you probably know where you're going most.
yeah, I could slip to the front.
Yeah, just give me a marching order here, actually.
I probably will go front just because I'm the most sneaky of our group. So I probably will do. Jillian, I am gonna, in my pack, I've got a container of like grease or oil or something. I don't know. It's like Vaseline thickness, petroleum jelly kind of stuff. I'm gonna oil your knee sockets on your armor and your shoulder joints, so that way when you're moving, you're not so squeaky.
Whereas, nor do you want back? Otherwise, Zenlin was going to watch to see if we're followed or anything.
I figured Redmore would take back.
Okay. You want to keep an eye out then?
All right. All right, let's give me some perception checks for those of you who are watching out to make sure you're not being followed or spotted, and a stealth check from one person for the group.
I got a 6.
It's okay
your
because
perception?
Zen got a non-natural 20.
Yeah, my perception is trash, but I got a 15 stealth. Those dice really kicked back bullshit.
Reznor was
59
drinking her
stealth.
too.
All right. So you all slip off into the woods and make your way winding through the trees up to the outskirts of Cornerstone Tower.
One moment. Jillian, would you mind doing that fancy thing that you do that tethers us all together? If you're talking, you're muted.
Yes, I will do that.
Emboldening bond. That gives you a D4, everybody a D4 within 30 feet to your saves, attacks, and checks and such.
All right. And you come up to a tower. There's no gate or anything blocking this off from access. You look up and you can see that one of the floors has caved in on the side, with rubble spilling into the tower itself. And you can walk up to try the front door.
Okay. When we get there, do we see, since Jolly's gone home to rest, since he was like keeping watch all day and such, do we see any symbols or notes or anything from Jolly left outside for us when we get there?
Jolly sent you a sending towards the end of the night saying that it was all clear. Nobody seemed to approach. He didn't want to get too close himself in case somebody else was watching. But he didn't see anyone.
Okay.
Do we want to go in the front door?
Probably not, but I mean...
You see there's a little set of stairs leading up to this front door.
I could make Reznor levitate, and he could carry each of us up to that hole.
That is true. We are fairly light and small. We could do such. But
I'm just thinking if for some reason we're not able to relock the door or something, then it's obvious someone was here.
What if Reznor and I go up and then we drop a rope down and pull you both up?
That works.
Because I can go into my signet ring and Reznor can wear my signet ring and take us both up. And then I can pop back out of my signet ring when we get to the top.
Yeah, you can do that.
Cool with this,
Reznor's about it.
Okay. Then yeah, we'll go over and line up, right? Because he can only go up and down. So we'll line up with where the hole is. And then I'll cast
Mhm.
Levitate on him.
All right. Let's go ahead and open VTT.
All right.
And if you would zoom in on our second floor there, you'll see where you have all levitated in and been pulled up with the rope.
Perfect. Perfecto.
Congratulations, you've bypassed the first skill check of the tower in opening the door.
Smarter,
Go ahead and
not
make
harder.
sure you burn the resource for levitate there.
Yep, I did.
Okay, so we get up here, we get up to this second floor.
Yeah, and you see a small room crushed by rubble with a bed, small desk, and a carpet on the floor,
Okay.
with a door leading out into the greater tower. You
Do
notice, I will say, you notice as you set foot in the tower, candles flare and light up.
Oh.
You do see that none of this light seems to spill out of the crumbled edge. It stops hard at the boundary of the tower's former wall.
Okay. Okay.
And you feel a sudden shift underneath you as some of these stones roll from under your feet and rebuild themselves in the wall.
Oh.
It does not seal, but just a few of the small stones look like they almost rewind back into their old position.
I would like
Cole,
to.
You were the only one to notice this.
Okay. Yeah. I want to pick up a couple of these stones. 3 of them. If I can, small ones, like nothing big, like pebble size, or hand
Definitely.
skipping stone size, right?
Yeah.
And I will imbue each of the 3 of those with some magic.
All right. You're going to cast Magic Stone on some of these pebbles?
I am going to cast magic stone on some pebbles.
All right. You've got some magic pebbles with you.
Yep, I'm going to give one to Zenlin, since Zenlin's kind of bringing up the rear just in case. And
right.
I'll keep 2 for my own self.
Sounds good. All right. What would you like to do? You see this thin wooden door in front of you. Does not appear to have a lock on it. It's just sort of a partition door. You have full control. Feel free to take yourselves around and roam the tower. There are no locked doors inside.
Okay. No locked doors, and here we are.
How do we want to go about this? Stay on the same floor but go to different rooms and search, or?
Yeah, I would say let's try to stay all within 30 feet of each other. I mean, that's a pretty big distance, but at the same time, right, like...
All within 30 feet of Jillian, at least.
Yeah.
And I mean, it's only about twice that, so
Yeah, it
we
should be all
be
right.
relatively okay.
Just want to make sure we do stay where she can see and or get to us in one set of movement. Because some of us have little legs, man.
All right. So yeah, go ahead and move yourselves around. Let me know what you want to look for and what you're looking at.
So I guess we should figure out, first of all, because I don't think we actually discussed it, what it is that we are wanting to look for while we're here.
Any signs of recent use, which I can't confirm. Magic is weird, but most magical places are in some kind of use. And so probably anything showing recent habitation or movement, something to do with the mayor, and maybe something connecting to the wyverns.
Okay. Yeah, because it's this tower that gets attacked all the time. So
Yeah.
we
I
do.
think am I missing anything? I think those are the three big ones we're really looking for.
So we want to start here, obviously, where we're at, and kind of get a general layout, look around. But we essentially we want to go downstairs, right? Because I think we had talked previously about checking the basement, if there is a basement, and seeing if there's like tunnels or anything down there.
Could we tell how many floors there were?
You could see that there are 3 floors above ground.
Maybe do this and then look at 3 right away while we're up here, and then work our way down.
Yeah, that's fine with me. I'm okay with going up then down.
Just since we're up here.
That's fine. All right, yeah. So let's break off and check each of these rooms as we go, and stay close to Jillian. Jillian, you're our anchor point, so scream really loud if anything touches you.
You got
All right.
it.
All right. Let's go ahead. Let's just do initiative rolls to see what order we'll be going in.
Huh. I rolled 7 on my advantage initiative both times.
Such is luck, right?
I got a 7 on initiative.
Oof. Resnor, I'm going to guess you have the higher dex between you and Jillian.
Yeah, I have 17.
I think, yeah, Jillian's got a 16. So we'll go Resnor before Jillian, Coca-Cola before, Coca-Cola you'll be first, then Zenlin, then Resnor, then Jillian. So Coca-Cola, what would you like to go check out here?
Well, since I'm first and I'm first out of the room, I think I'll just go to the first room right here by where I'm at. I'll check that door first to make sure it's not trapped or anything.
Yeah, you want to check out the door, make sure it's not trapped?
Yes, I would like to do such.
All right, just go ahead and give me an investigation check.
I gave us some music.
Yeah.
Investigation, you said, right?
Yep.
21.
All right, 21. This door does not appear to be trapped, and upon looking at it, you can see the handle is coated in a thick layer of dust.
A thick layer of dust on the handle?
Yep. Doesn't look like it's been touched or turned in quite some time.
Okay. So when I look at it to see if it's trapped, is it locked?
There are no locks on any of the doors inside.
Okay, I think you did say that. You did say it. Okay, so I'll open it.
Yep, you open it and you look in. It looks like a fairly well-appointed room. It's got a couple of little bedside tables, a well-lit little desk with 2 little bulbs of light hanging over it. And you notice that these little bulbs of light aren't actually candles. They are a piece of crystal that has been carved into the shape of a flower and shines from within.
So like little mage lights.
Yeah, these are definitely mage lights.
Okay.
Some sort.
So I'll just look around. I'll check the desk. I see there's a desk there and a dresser.
Yeah.
I'll just check
You
drawers or anything there.
open up the dresser, look over the desk, and you find in the dresser a well-appointed rapier engraved with filigree, gold and silver inlay in the hilt, with a fine basket covering it. You now have a +1 rapier.
Okay. And is that the only thing I find in there?
That is the only thing of any note. You do find a few, like, what looks like almost just miscellaneous pieces of trash that were left behind.
No journal or anything in the desk or anything like that?
No journal, no armor. Looks like there's a pair of, like, what looks like they might have once been uniform pants that are, like, kicked under the bed a little. But they are they're not in the worst shape, but they're not clean, and they haven't been clean in quite some time.
Okay. Yeah, so if that's the only thing really of note that I find in there is that rapier, I'll tuck it in my bag, and then I will go back out and end my turn.
All right. On that, we'll go ahead and move to the next person. Zemlin, what do you check out while Coca-Cola is in this room? Coca-Cola, I'm just going to leave you right inside the doorway there so we know which room you checked.
Zenlin is probably going to check out like these 2 small rooms right next to us.
Yeah, these 2 little bathing area rooms.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you open the door to the... I'll say you can check both of those during this turn for sure. So you open the door to the one on the right there, map east. Mm-hmm. And you see that it is full of a bath filled with tepid, cold bath water. But you don't see any of the usual signs of long-term standing water. There's no algae or bacteria or, insect eggs on the top. It's just cold. And then you check the other room and find an empty bathtub.
You're talking muted, Don.
I apologize. I was saying I assume that'll probably be his turn checking for any kind of like hidden door or
yeah, give me an investigation check.
$16.
You don't see any hidden doors or anything, but I mean, you don't know how deep those holes for the commode go.
Fair. But yeah, I assume that'll be his turn.
Yep. Alright, and then we will move to Reznor. Reznor, what are you checking out, bud?
Reznor. He's gonna move to this room right above where Cola is. It keeps him within
Yeah.
range of Jillian. He's gonna open the door. He's not gonna walk in, but he's gonna open it and kind of look inside.
You look inside and you can see what is very clearly to your mercenary eye a barracks room. You can see that there are armor cases hastily shoved underneath each of these beds, a dresser with enough spots to have one drawer for every bed in this room, and beds with rumpled sheets, not quite made to military perfection, but put together. But it does look like whoever was in here rushed out of here in a hurry. Go ahead and give me an investigation check if you'd like to learn more, or any other check you'd like to try to make.
Investigations. That's a bit. Oh, that's an 8.
Yeah, so on an 8, like I said, you notice that these armor cases have been very hurriedly shoved under these beds. Looks like they were pulled out, put on, and kicked under. And that's about all you pick up. The people who left here were in a rush.
Okay.
And we will move on to Jillian. Jillian, what would you like to do?
Jillian's gonna move down the hallway behind Rasnor, and she's going to check out this room on the end that's on the left side.
And on the left?
Yeah.
Jillian, you step in here, and you see something that's a bit of a familiar sight. A stone stack. Each stone just a bit smaller than the last. And you see that in the center, there is a strange circular pattern. A hole almost wide enough for you to fit your fist into, with strange etchings filling it. Would you like to try to discern anything in this room?
Would she be able to do like a religion check and
Definitely.
maybe get some more information out of that?
Yeah, definitely. Go ahead and give me a religion check. And if you have guidance, you can use that on yourself as well. All right, you want to throw a D4 on there for guidance?
Yes. Yeah, I'll do that.
All right, so it's a total of 22. With a 22 religion, yeah, you recognize this. This is an altar near the like a bit different in style, but an altar to the same force as the one that is in the Iron Gut apiary. And as you peer just a little bit closer, you can see inside the center of that fist-sized hole is just an ancient, dried speck of blood.
Would she be able to collect a sample of that blood?
Yeah, you could scrape some of the dried blood off into like a vial or something.
Alright, she would do that.
All right. And that is where we'll wrap up this turn. You will be able to spend future turns in this room trying to figure out more, same as you can in other rooms that you guys have investigated, if you'd like. And we will go back to the top of the order. Coca-Cola. Where would you like to go?
So when I come out of that room, I'll show everybody the nice, fancy new rapier I picked up. If nobody else has anything exciting to talk about or needs help in their rooms, then I will move up to this room up here.
All right.
And I will first investigate, even though none of them are locked. As said, I still want to make sure I'm not getting zapped. Got an 18 investigation to make sure the door's not trapped.
It is not trapped, and you see that same dust on this door.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll open it and I'll go in and I'll look around the pieces of furniture for any papers, any journals or books, information. I'll check the armoire, same as the last room.
Cool. Go ahead and just give me an investigation check.
Sure. 12.
12? Wonderful.
Mhm.
All right.
Hold on. Okay.
Oh, and your D4 for emboldening bond, correct?
Doing it now, yeah. So 14. That gives me 14 total.
Okay, it hadn't loaded through for me. All right, so 14 total. You're looking around here, and you do find a little journal-like book, actually, laid out on this desk in the corner. And you can see that it has written almost in a joking script somehow, like the Comic Sans of handwriting, guest log across the cover, just scrawled and messed.
You cut out on me. You said scrawled and messy and what? I'm sorry?
Just scrawled in ink on the cover instead of being printed on it. It says guest log. And you can see inside the signatures of what appear to be many members of a dwarven military of some sort.
Okay. I will tuck it in my pack.
Yeah. So you tuck it away in your pack. And that is where we'll end your turn for this round and move on to Zenlin. Zen, what you up to, buddy?
Zen will probably go over here and check out this room. Did I cut out that time?
Maybe I did. Are you heading straight in, or are you checking doors like Coca-Cola does?
Nah.
All right, you're just heading straight in.
Yeah, it seems like it's been empty for a while.
Yeah, it's got 2 beds, 2 armoires, 2 desks, and a large rug.
He wants to search and look everywhere under the rug and the desk, under the drawers, but try and make sure that it doesn't look looked through.
Yeah, 100%. I'll say either give me investigation at disadvantage or give me investigation in sleight of hand.
Sure. That's
Nat 20.
Yep, 19 investigation and nat 20 sleight of hand.
I'm going to say that nat 20 sleight of hand, Zenlin's actually able to cover everybody for this. You're going behind everybody, tidying up and making sure nothing looks touched.
Makes sense.
So for this entire floor, we'll say. But on a 19 investigation, you are searching through here, and you don't find much in the armoires. There's nothing on the desk. And then you just decide to peek between the mattress and the frame of this bed on the left and find a long, pulsing battle axe. The handle seems to thrum in your hands with ivy-like etchings crawling up to the head, which flares with just a little bit of blue light.
I imagine Zenlin drags this out of the room and calls for Reznor.
Yeah, you call for Reznor. Reznor, you hear, and you're able to head over there since it'll be you next.
And then he'll, like, hold out the axe.
Alright. Reznor, do you reach out to take the axe?
Yeah, he'll reach out to take it and try and look at it.
Alright, you place your hands on the shaft of this axe and take it. And you feel a deep primal thrum. Not in your heart, deeper. Just below it, in your gut. There's a growl in your stomach. And you feel hungry. Congratulations, you have a +1 battle axe. And, maybe it does something else too. We'll have to see.
Big fan of the battle axe.
Sorry, +1 great axe. Two-handed.
Gotcha.
Alright. And then, Reznor, what would you like to do with your turn? We won't have that taken up for you.
Alright. So I'll kind of take the axe and study it a little bit.
Yeah, you can spend your turn investigating the axe if you want to learn more about it, too, if you'd like.
Yeah, he's gonna try and investigate, see if there's anything else he can figure out.
I will say, make me a skill check. Whichever skill you think is the one that puts Reznor most in touch with his barbaric self. Whether that's athletics, survival, acrobatics, intimidation. Make that check for me.
Oh, that's a tough one. I feel like it'd be between survival and athletics. He's definitely more of a strength guy, though. We'll go with athletics, then. 15.
15? Yeah, you just sort of bear down on this axe. You are holding its haft in both hands, and you just put pressure on it, staring down at it. You feel the strength rise up in yourself. Feel that deep primal rage, that hunger, the ferocity to sink into something and make it bleed. Your teeth elongate. And until the end of your next combat encounter, you will gain the benefits of being shifted, and you will have one more rage permanently.
One
So
more
you
rage permanently is awesome.
Yes. So go ahead and, as if you had used your shifter trait, give yourself your temp HP. Don't burn a use of it, and you have an extra rage.
Awesome. So I have 5 rages.
You are now holding the axe of the berserker.
This is the
We'll go
greatest
ahead and-
hits let's give Reznor.
All right, we'll go ahead and move on from Reznor to Jillian. You have your flake of dried blood in a vial, and you are here before this altar to a god that is not yours. What do you do?
she's going to reach into her herbalism kit and she's going to grab a pinch of herbs and she's going to put it on the altar and just say, "Be at peace.
All right.
I mean you no harm."
All right. Make me a religion check.
Okay. Seven total.
7 total. As you place these herbs on the altar, you see that a draft of wind comes in through the opening in the side, through these open doors, and manages to hit this cupped hole in such a way that the herbs blow back out at you, scattering across your face. And with that, we come to the bottom of our order. Or rather, the top of it, as our lair acts on 20. And before you, Jillian, a insubstantial shimmering as an echo of dwarves long past appears, reaching out of this altar towards you. Jillian, I'm going to need you to make a Constitution saving throw, please.
Oops, that was charisma. $21.
21? Alright, you take 11 necrotic damage as this thing plunges a hand deep into your heart and squeezes. Jillian, do you let out any sound when you take this damage straight to your life force?
Oh yes. Yes.
All right, you all hear a blood-curdling shriek as Jillian cries out from the other room. Coca-Cola, you are next to act.
I'm gonna run like the wind, bullseye. With my not the new blade that I picked up, but the other one that I had already.
Yeah, your moon-touched rapier.
Yes. Just because I don't want to make any folks anger.
100%. Yeah, so go. You're gonna run into Jillian.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yep.
And I
right.
don't
Well,
want
you
to hit
see
the
this
ghost first.
Yeah.
But do I recognize that it's dwarven?
Yeah, you can see very clearly that this is a dwarf long past.
So I'll talk to it in dwarvish, something along the lines of, "We mean no harm, let my friend go."
Yeah, and as you rush in saying this, you can hear it actually speaking in Dwarven at Jillian. False worshipper. Idolatrous. Dragon-blooded. Begone from this place.
Well, dragon blooded is right.
What do you say to this thing as you rush in? You say that you mean no harm. Is that where you leave it?
If he's like continuously talking shit to my bestie, then
he said those three things and then stopped speaking.
does he respond to my conversation at all, or does he still like choking the life out of Jillian's heart?
He does pull his hand out of Jillian and turn to face you. He does not look settled. He is no longer actively attacking her.
Okay.
Would you like to try to persuade this thing to put it to rest? Any actions you want to take?
Let's see how we can do here. I've got a 19 persuasion.
All right, on a 19 persuasion, you see that this thing looks at you and says, Valkyrie, and fades into non-existence.
All right, so that's my action, movement, and bonus action. I am going to draw the ward for Sanctuary over Jillian.
All right, cool.
And that's going to be EOT for me.
All right. You do see that, I'll say, as you rush into the room, you see that there is still a glimmer of that ghostly light this thing shone with coming from the altar. At the end of your turn, we are going to move to Zenlin. Zenlin, you and Reznor are both out in the hallway here. You heard Jillian scream and saw Cola rush in there, yelling in Dwarven.
Zenlin is going to move up and kind of peek in. He's just going to be like, what's going on? And then would I notice the glow coming from the altar?
Yes. And I'll say you can make an Arcana check to identify that as some form of spiritual energy.
Non-natural,
yeah,
20. Yeah.
Easily. You're able to identify that as a trapped spirit or something of the sort. A spirit is within that altar.
I got nothing for this. Wrong character. Thought I had a spell for this.
I will say there are ways to solve this without spells.
Okay.
There is a puzzle component to this as well.
I mean, I think that's, like, he can get just in the room, but he wants to leave room for Reznor. So he would just try and look around for anything that looks out of place or that seems like it could be connected to this, but probably doesn't see much from out here.
Yeah, you don't see anything from out here.
But that'll be his turn.
All right, Reznor.
Reznor is going to obviously come up. He's going to kind of get in the doorway a little more than Zenlin and make sure is everyone all right? And he's going to kind of scan the room from the doorway.
Does not appear to be any active threats. There is a strange, unnatural light glowing from that stone altar, though.
What happened? Is everyone all right?
Jillian screamed, and when I came in, there was a ghost with his hand in her chest, talking all kind of nonsense.
Is it normal to leave a blood offering on this altar?
Golden, make me a religion with advantage. Anyone else can make me a flat religion.
Advantage. I can do that, I think. if I don't pass religion. There you go. Good job, hooligan. $16.
All right. Coca-Cola, you know that in times long past, a blood offering was often made to ancestors to prove that you were of their blood.
Yeah, so I'll relay that. And are we still in turn order?
We are, so it will be going to Jillian if Reznor was just going to check up with his turn.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was
then
gonna
I'll
say
relay that information.
Yeah, I took a little bit of the blood because I was going to ask Reznor to sniff it and tell me if it was Dwarvish or something else, but I guess I shouldn't have done that.
Jillian, go ahead and give me a religion free action.
Okay.
I'll say on a
10.
10. On a 10, you recognize that it wasn't that you took from the altar that was the issue. It was that you gave the wrong thing.
Okay.
You're not
And
sure what you
I
should
shouldn't have
do.
I shouldn't have left the herbs. I left some herbs because I didn't want to take without giving, but I guess I shouldn't have given that.
And that rings true with you, Hooli, with the false worshiper comment.
Okay.
You know me. I worship a pantheon of gods. I don't just, I feel like everybody can help. Why not just the sovereign host? There's just so many to choose from, that just, if you're having problems with one area, you can just zoom in on one god. But I'm sorry, this was definitely outside of my wheelhouse.
Yeah. And Jillian, that's, as you say that, you realize that's actually a little bit of an unfamiliar feeling for you. In Sharn, where the sovereign host is, one of the major religion, you're a go-to person for this kind of thing. Strange family altar is having reactions. We could call Rilka. She could check it out and probably tell you what you're doing wrong. But here in this town of Revan, their ways are strange to you. And this failure stings a little bit. Especially since it came from a place of meaning well. Would Jillian like to try to do anything with her turn? Or is she just working through all that?
She's working through that, trying to figure out what she can do to make it right.
I'm going to say trying to figure out what you can do to make it right. Give me one more religion check.
Okay.
At advantage, since Jillian is such a good-hearted person and just wants to make things right. And intention does matter. And don't forget your D4 from Emboldening Bond on that as well. And I believe you can stack that with guidance if you want to add 2d4, since Emboldening Bond is not concentration.
Did both of those rolls go through? It's
So
lagging
the first
back
one
for
went
me.
through and it was a 7, and then you can add 2d4 to that.
Okay, so I got a 9 and a 7. Wow, thank you. And the last roll was a nat 1.
All right, so the last roll shouldn't have happened, so we'll just go ahead and add 2d4s for you here. I'll just go ahead and roll those quick for your guidance and Emboldening Bond. So you'll add 6 for a total of 13. On a 13, Cola's confirmation that blood offerings are made at this altar sticks with you. And you only got one source of dwarven blood nearby. And that's where we'll end your turn and go back to the top of the order with the lair. Coca-Cola, your turn.
All right. So I want to go over to the altar. I'll pull one of my daggers from my thigh sheath. I'll cut my non-dominant hand on my palm. I'll squeeze out a drop of blood on the altar, and I'll say, in the depths we dwell, with fire in our veins, grant us strength, O ancestors, to conquer all pains. Dwarven blood runs deep, forever shall it remain. What I'll say when I do that.
All right. Go ahead and just make an attack against yourself with a dagger. Just give me damage on that. And I'll say you can drop your dex mod if you want. So it can just be the d4 of the dagger itself.
Okay, where is
You hit automatically on yourself. So just
perfect.
do a d4 damage.
So just 4.
All right. So you take 4 damage, and your hit point maximum is reduced by the same as your blood boils on this altar, and you hear a loud ka-thunk from elsewhere in the tower. The light fades from the altar, and you can tell your offering has been accepted.
You said my max HP went down 4 as well.
Yes.
Okay. Oh, that is not what I...
Yep, but you did hear, like I said, you heard a loud kerthunk as though something opened elsewhere in the tower.
Okay, so I'll do that. I'll put my dagger away and such.
And we'll say you still have your full movement if you want to go look at other stuff too.
Where did the song sound like it came from? Did it sound like the same floor as we are on, or like down below or up above?
I'll say with your absolutely insane passive perception, you couldn't really tell what floor it came from, but it sounded like it came from your east.
So my
Somewhere
right?
off in the eastern direct. Yeah, from your right. Further, like almost by the stairs. Somewhere in the stairwell on your right.
Okay.
Not sure which floor, but you know it came from the direction of the stairwell.
I'll point that out to everybody after I make my offering, and then I will take my movement. And since we've searched all the rooms aside from, I think, the bathtubs, I'll move toward
you searched the bathtubs.
the ones up here.
First turn. Oh,
okay.
I'll just tell you now, those bathtubs up top are identical to the ones in the bottom.
Okay.
Except the filled one has the commode on the right side, not the left. Big deal there.
All right, yeah. So if that's it, I'll pass on the noise of the thunk, and I'll head in the direction of such.
Cool, Zen.
I guess, yeah, if we've searched everything up here, Zenlin's going to start making his way toward the only part that hasn't been explored, which I assume he would have noticed stairs.
Yeah. Yeah, you want to just take a double move over there?
Sure. He'll also, say that to the others and be like, I think I saw stairs this way.
Yeah. And you can go ahead and give me a perception check for free when you get over there.
13, because I don't think I'm within 30 anymore.
Yep. All right. Stairs heading up, stairs heading down, pillar in the center, and 2 hanging lit chandeliers with more of those mage bulbs on them.
That'll be turn.
All right. Reznor.
Yeah, Reznor will probably.
If I'm counting this right, you can get next to Zen in a single move.
Yeah.
So you can still have your
that's-
action.
Yeah. So I'm gonna get next to Zenlin. I'm kind of gonna do the same, where I'm kind of gonna look around, see if I can't notice the sound she talked about.
Cool. Give me a perception.
That's a 3. That one.
I mean, this central pillar has some really pretty porcelain work on the outside.
I was about to say, Reznor just realized we're in a tower. It's crazy. Yeah, that's gonna be it. I'm real intrigued. Zenlin, have you seen the stonework?
Jillian.
Okay, Jillian's gonna move towards the stairs since Zenlin said that they were over there. Let's see. Is that about as far as I can get?
Right.
Let's see.
So if you double move, you should be able to get fully over there, I think.
Okay.
So just give me that perception check. And actually, Reznor, since you didn't use your action, I'll allow you to make your check at advantage if you'd like as well.
Sure. I'll go for one more one. It was perception, right?
Yep.
Okay. That's a 12.
Okay, yeah. So you notice the same things as Zenlin did. And Jillian on a 20, you notice that the porcelain pattern enameled on the outside of the central pillar is out of sync, actually. You can see that one section of it has shifted up about 6 feet higher than it should be. It looks like the disturbance in the pattern begins on the floor below you. On the pillar on the floor below you.
So
I'm
I
going to
will
say with
mention that
noticing that, Jillian is able to point out that the pillar below you has shifted up. You all move down to the first floor and find an opening with a ladder hanging down the edge, leading into the deeps of Cornerstone Tower.
You said that's
that
on the
what-
first floor?
Yes, there's a ladder on the first floor leading down into the deeps of the tower.
Oh, I thought we were going to the third.
Yeah, I thought we were gonna go up first, but hey,
Doesn't matter.
Okay. You all are welcome to explore up. Jillian, with that perception check, was able to tell an opening had appeared in the pillar below, on the floor below.
Oh, okay.
is that the thunk?
That was the thump.
Well-
Yes.
All right. So I'll once Jillian says that, I'll say that must be what I heard. Was it opening up?
Yep. Do the group of you make your way down this ladder?
After we go up first, I think.
All right, you want to search the upper parts of the tower first?
Yeah,
Sounds
since
good.
we're already up and we want to go down, I think we want to go up before
Up
we
and
go
then
down.
make your way all the way down. Cool.
Yeah.
That is where we will call our session for this week before we search the third floor of Cornerstone Tower and then
Perfect.
plumb the depths below. Thank you all for joining me for our lovely 11th episode of Gilded Destinies. I've had a wonderful time this week. I've been Chipper. And we will see you again next Thursday.
later.
I went to remove Don's. Oh, there he is. Okay, good. I was just about to DM him. Sorry, Don. I went to remove your thing from the studio since you were sharing, and it ended up kicking you entirely.
That's the thing, is on my end, I had just clicked stop sharing, and all of a sudden it just kicked me out to the homepage. Okay.
I went to remove it, and when I I clicked the button to remove it, and I guess I clicked kick the user instead of kick the thing, and I'm like, you disappeared,
Okay.
and I'm like, oh, okay. I was just
Okay.
gonna
You've been voted
DM.
off the island.
We voted you off the island.
All right. Well, does anybody have anything they want to promote or announce before we head out here tonight?
No, I don't think I have anything.
All right.
Reznor.
All right. Mandatory plug for our Monday Night Grim Hollow game, Delirium, where you can find the players for Reznor, Zenlin, and then of course our lovely Hooli leading the pack with me joining as a player. And we hope to see you all there, and hope to see you back here on Gilded Destinies next week.
Hopefully Monday we can get combat finished because we're mid-combat. So I'm curious to see how these shenanigans go off. Who walks away
And we've
from
got-
this battle that's going on here?
We will see some shenanigans, that's for sure.
Yeah, all right. Well, we will. Let's see. Are we going to run a raid? Let's see if we're going to run a raid. Nope, we're not. We're not going to run a raid. All right, so we'll catch everybody back next week. Have fun. Do whatever
Bye.
you do, and see you.